Coming up this week, off-screen, M. Night Shyamalan sends us packing on The Visit. Tom Hardy is a legend, twice no less. The kids are back in The Maze Runner, The Scorch Trials. We meet La Famille Be, and Woody Allen introduces us to an irrational man. All those to come and more off-screen.
This is OffScreen. OffScreen. With the latest film news and reviews, this is OffScreen, the on-screen radio show.
Welcome to Off-Screen. I'm Van Connor.
I'm Kase Allen.
So shall we start with Legend? Because that's getting a lot of marketing.
It's getting quite a lot, yeah. Should we also talk about the poster debacle?
Oh, because The Guardian gave it 2 stars, and there is the brilliant thing. Yeah. This is Ben Lee's review. He gave it 2 stars. It's been positioned between the heads of Tom Hardy and Tom Hardy. And
it's pretty genius, really.
Kind of genius, and it started a whole thing about... because the public seem unaware about PR companies and marketing companies taking review quotes out of context.
It happens quite a lot, really.
It happens very, very often. But so, okay, Legend, which is latest from Brian Helgeland directing.
He's done quite a bit, yeah.
He has, and
Nice Tale,
most known, I think, for writing LA Confidential, bizarrely.
Of course,
He's directed
won an Oscar for that film.
He did. And now he's got his take on the craze, and Tom Hardy is playing not one, but both of the craze.
Yeah.
In 60s London, where, of course, they ruled. They were organised crime incarnate. Ronnie and Reggie Kray. Of course, you have Ronnie, who is the slightly less mentally stable one, who they sort of strong-arm his way out of a mental hospital at the film's inset.
Yeah, he's a colourful character.
He is, and I always remember them. I can't tell them apart. I can never remember which one's which. Yeah. And then I remember that Ron is almost like wrong. So whichever is the wrongest one, that's Ron. Yeah. Got Tom Hardy, of course, as Reggie as well, who enters into a relationship with a woman he will eventually marry. Which, of course, if you know the story of the craze, you know is sort of going to end in tears historically. And in the meanwhile, you have Ronnie's rather unbalanced war against everyone he perceives as an enemy in London at the time. Here's a clip.
You know, it's too much about things about us, Reggie. You know, it's too many things about us.
You know, it's too many things about us. Right, Albie, do you know things about us, mate? You know things, eh? About Ron, about me, about the firm, right? You know, about payments, right? Do you know we cash bearer bonds, yeah? Do you know we pay off juries to make them look favourably upon us, do you?
Yes.
Jack, mate, do you know anything about fraud? Anything at all, take a punt. Do you know anything about how we pay off policemen every final Thursday of the month? Do you know that?
Of course I do.
So why don't we kill Jack now? Or you can do me and I'll do you and we're both there. That's a genius idea. Listen to yourself, Ron. You're nuts!
So, Legend then. This is, I mean, the marketing for this one is everywhere. You can't miss. You can't avoid.
You can't avoid it, can you? No.
You can't. And there is something kind of interesting about Legend in that it is notably sort of aimed. The film seems to have been crafted and aimed towards women, towards a female demographic. It's got this female-driven voiceover by Emily Browning as Reggie Kray's girlfriend. Yeah. And it does seem to have this let's play it to the ladies sort of idea. And that's kind of interesting to me, given that the last time we saw Tom Hardy was Fury Road.
Yeah, and he didn't really talk. And
was marketed to men, but really was a film about women.
Yeah.
And that's interesting to me. So now you've got the craze, of course, which, don't get me wrong, guys will enjoy the hell out of it as well because, you know, there's Tom Hardy as both craze.
Yeah.
And it's Tom Hardy, what's not to love?
Well, I think that's another thing for the ladies as well. I mean, there's 2 Tom Hardys. So
yeah, you get 2 Tom Hardys for your buck. It's like it's kind of like Orange Wednesdays, 2 for 1. In fact,
2 for 1.
If you went in on Meerkat movies and it was 2 for 1, you get 2 for 1. You actually get 2 Tom Hardys
that's
for
it,
1.
Yeah. That is a bargain.
That is a bargain. So technically that's 4 for 1, but never mind.
God, 4 Tom Hardys is too much.
No. You know, four bargains, but
that works.
So, of course, you've also got another element to it which is quite interesting, which is there's been a sort of reshuffling of the dynamic of the story this time around. So, if you remember the one with the Kemps from 1990,
I do remember that.
The focus in terms of the female audience was on the mother figure. This time around, the mother is barely mentioned. The father is a fleeting glimpse at best. I don't think he has a single line, and all of the female focus is on Emily Browning's character. And that's a very interesting shift, I think. It says a lot about the times, a lot of how they're marketing this film now and how they want it to play. So you've got Hardy as both the Cray twins, and there's a lot to love in there. He is having a lot of fun. Unlike what the trailers will sort of have you believe, his performance as Ronnie is not quite as cartoonish as you'd expect. Because it is very cartoonish in the trailer.
The trailer definitely plays up that aspect. Yeah.
It's not quite that way in the film. In context, it works a lot better. Although it is worth saying that his Reggie is actually more interesting because it represents a strangely normal guy for Tom Hardy. Which,
when was the last time he played like a normal guy and it was good?
This is as close as I think he's come.
This means war. But even then, he's like an agent, so...
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it?
And it's a terrible film.
Emily Browning, she presents at once quite an interesting female lead, but also the biggest problem in the film. She's a perfectly engaging female lead. However, her voiceover is awful. Absolutely terrible voiceover. Really takes you out of the film. You've then got a number of cast members who are really underutilised. Chris Eccleston.
Yeah.
So Christopher Eccleston, my favourite Doctor Who. Christopher Eccleston, underutilised. Paul Bettany, did you even know he was even in this?
I did know. Taron Egerton, I believe.
Taron Egerton. No, Taron Egerton gets a bit more to do than you... Because for the first half of the film, you're like, why is he in this? I don't get it. And then second half, he has a lot more to do.
Okay.
Charles Parmentary, though, has a nice little... Again, still too little, but a nice little bit.
It's just good to see him in a gangster film.
Exactly. The problem with Legend largely is the components of which it consists clash constantly. So, on the one hand, you have this film which really wants to be a Scorsese movie. And it really does. I mean, from its opening, it's got this sort of, we want to do a British Scorsese movie, and we want that humour. But then it keeps going off too far into the realm of the dark, sadistic comedy. And that's a problem when you then have a film which seems to shy away from being the really gritty tale that you want it to be. I mean, if you boil it down, this really is... blood and gore aside, this actually isn't any more adult than the Kemp's version, which I found very odd, particularly for a film in 2015 from the writer of LA Confidential, in an era sort of post-Departed. Yeah. There's also, and I keep finding this, I found this with the 90s version as well, a very disappointing lack of scope to it all. So you don't quite really ever get a sense of the size of the Craze operation. It really does seem to be, here's their living room, here's a cafe, and occasionally we'll go to a hotel, and it seems to be that. For the most part, there is some flair to the visuals. I mean, Brian Helgeland's got some very slick, very engaging style to it. The cast are on top form, which I can't really dispute that at all. And the Craze story is always interesting. It's never not interesting. The problem is it's a little bit messy in terms of its tone, going all over the place, a little bit cartoonish, awful voiceover that just feels very televisual. But there is enough in there to enjoy.
Yeah.
Should we do some film news then, Case?
Let's do some film news, man.
Because there's Divergent, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, so this is the name change for the final film, I believe.
This is, so rather than Allegiant Part 1, so it's going to be the Divergent Series : Allegiant : Part 1, and then the Divergent Series : Allegiant : Part 2.
Just call it colon. Just call the film the colon series.
I would call it Divergent :
Divergent colon.
Divergent colon.
Insurgent colon. Yeah.
So now, of course, in March next year, we're going to get the Divergent Series : Allegiant.
Yep.
The following March, you will now get, instead of Allegiant Part 2, you will get the Divergent Series : Ascendant. Which means they have actually invented a title. I don't know. I've not read the book, so I can't...
I was reading an interview with the author. She just said, they've changed it, it'll be fine. That's essentially what she said. Yeah. So I think she just didn't have any say in it. Just,
you know what? Any fans that are up in arms, just remember,
are there any
by
fans?
any other name.
Yeah.
I think that... No, there are fans, because I sat in an IMAX preview screening of Insurgent, and believe me, there are fans. Very, very vocal fans.
No, man, it's just people waiting for Hunger Games to come out. That's all that is.
What it is. And of course, we have to talk about Legendary Pictures and their little machinations today. This is quite a good one. So, we had Godzilla in 2014. 2014?
Yeah,
over at Warner Brothers, produced by Legendary Pictures. Legendary, shortly after that, moved their films over to Universal. where they began work on Kong Skull Island, starring your personal favourite, Ms. Brie Larson.
I love it.
And almost starred J.K. Simmons, but not quite.
Almost,
but not
Still,
quite.
it's going to be a good cast.
It's got half the cast of Straight Outta Compton in it. So
That's it, we've got Corey Hawkins.
However, now, Thomas Tull, who is one of the heads of Legendary Pictures, has moved the project back over to Warner Brothers, where Godzilla lives.
There we are.
And the idea is now we're going to get Godzilla 2, and it's going to set up a third movie that's going to... a fourth movie in this case, which is going to be King Kong versus Godzilla. Boom.
Yes.
There you go. What's not to love?
That must have been the plan from the start.
I think that is. So we've got that to look forward to. I mean, we just need Gareth Edwards to finish up on that space movie he's doing.
Star Trek something or other, I believe. It's,
Star Battles?
Star Battles.
Space Battles.
Space Battles, Battlefront, Wars.
That's it.
That's
something
what it
like
is.
that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
The Force wakens up.
Right, shall we do the box office top 10 then, guys?
Let's do the old top 10.
Okay, so, start us off.
Number 10.
Hitman Agent 47. It's moved down to number 10.
It has quite quickly as well. I liked Agent 47 as a schlocky, video game movie, beer and pizza fest.
I'd watch it as a
thing.
TV show.
I would as well, actually.
Definitely wants a show.
Perfect TV show. Great idea for a TV show. But as a movie, it's perfectly fine up until its very, very Resident Evil-like ending. But... you know what?
It'll do.
I got on with it and I enjoyed it, and it had Hannah Ware in it, and she's brilliant, and I want to see Zach Quinto in more action films.
Number 9.
Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Now, you're a fan of this one.
I am a fan of
your
this.
jam.
I would see a franchise of it, but I don't think we're going to. So
I don't think we'll get a franchise out
No,
of it. I think it is
but
one
it's
and
okay.
done.
Just a one and done. It was very stylish, had a lot of cool visual flair. Guy Ritchie is a good director.
There are a lot of
Knows what he's
people
doing.
who've made comments recently about, Henry Cavill, not a leading man. Man from U.N.C.L.E. shows this. I'm like, actually, I thought he was fine in Man from U.N.C.L.E. He was enjoyable.
I think he was really good. The man was quartered to play James Bond and Bruce Wayne, and I think that kind of sets it up.
Yeah, it kind of does. I like the back and forth as well.
Yeah.
Number 8.
Okay, new entry. Jesse Eisenberg in American Ultra.
Did you get to see this in the end?
No.
No.
I've been reading all of Max Landis, but it's a good original film, man. Kind of tweets.
No, Max. No, it
that's
is
put me off
not.
it.
And I can appreciate what he was trying to do, but frankly, the film isn't funny. And I mean, there's a handful of laughs, but the film isn't funny. The film isn't, and because it's not funny, it works more as a straight movie. And as a straight movie, it's not particularly interesting or engaging. And yeah, that's kind of a problem for your spy comedy.
Yeah, boo, Max.
Number 7.
This is another new entry for Transporter, refueled, rebooted, rejigged, whatever.
They could literally done Transporter rebooted, couldn't
Just
they?
any R-word subtitle. It's
They had-
one of those.
That's
isn't
it. If they could recast this, if they had given it a slightly better script, this would have been the Transporters Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
That would have worked.
And it would have been fantastic. Now, there are moments to it that are enjoyable. However, Ray Stevenson is doing his best version of the Roger Moore routine. Ed Skrein is absolutely terrible in it. I mean, so bad.
He can kick, though, apparently.
He can kick. That's about all
That's
he can
it.
do.
Number 6.
He's still hanging in there. Pixels.
I enjoyed it. Perfectly fine family film. See it in IMAX, see it in 3D. Switch your brain off. Sit there and enjoy some video games.
Go to the arcade afterwards.
Go to the arcade afterwards. Even Adam Sandler's tolerable in it.
It's basically playing Fry, isn't he?
He is playing Fry.
Number 5.
I'm so happy this is number 5. Me and Earl and the Dying Girl.
Which you loved it. You saw it before me. You were a very big fan. I then went and saw it, and I can
loved
see
it.
what he's talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, very, very good. Really enjoyed it. I like the cast in it. I forget the name. Thomas Mann.
Thomas Mann. I would watch him in just more quick little teenager.
This
films.
seems to be his shtick, though, because
Absolutely.
You didn't like him in Barely Lethal, though, did you?
I didn't like anything about Barely Lethal.
But you liked everything, I think, about Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. My particular
Yeah.
favourite is John Bernthal as the teacher. I think he's absolutely
fantastic,
terrific.
yeah.
Very funny, very touching film.
Number 4.
Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
With your favourite, Miss Rebecca Ferguson.
Yes.
And
Your favourite Mr. Baldwin.
And my favourite, Mr. Baldwin.
Everyone's favourite Mr. Baldwin.
Favourite. Consider your next words very carefully. Where is Hunt?
That will never not be good.
Well, I mean, I was talking to a friend at the Foo Fighters concert last week. and-
just dropping that in there. Went to see
because
Foo Fighters.
we did this a day early last week so that we could go to the Foo
yeah.
Fighters. And he said, how is Alec Baldwin that one? He's fantastic. He gets to deliver the great line, Hunt is the manifestation of destiny. And he does it with a straight face. No
is
one can do that
genius.
but Alec Baldwin, and not in a film as fun, and nowhere else but a film as fun as Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
Number 3.
So, No Escape is a new entry.
No! Where's my Darth Vader
from
costume?
America. Kill them.
It is. It's a zombie movie without zombies. It's pig ignorant of the fact that there is a world outside of the US.
And Pierce Brosnan is a bloody Mockney.
Pierce Brosnan's a Mockney, and probably the best thing about the film. I regret now ever wanting to see Owen Wilson in an action thriller again. I think rather than see this, you should just watch Behind Enemy Lines a few more times.
Number 2.
Inside Out.
It's never going away, is it? It's
Number two
spot.
spot.
Number 2 spot.
It's crazy.
Forever.
I don't know what else we can say other than I love it. It's a crazy emotional. I don't know.
That's
words.
it. I try to think about
whatever. It's just
I try to think about how I feel about Inside Out, and really all I get is my own version of joy in my head, pushing buttons.
Just a bit like yellow van.
It would like a yellow cartoonish van.
Would it be like Robert Downey Jr.? Just
quite possible now? Yeah, it'd be like that.
Number 1.
And still hanging in at the top spot, Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton, still at number 1 now.
Crazy.
Got
mother
Straight Outta
lover
Compton, but
named
it's
Ice
stuck
Cube.
around at number 1. And what is there really left to say on this one? It's perfectly enjoyable, but I mean, it has real issues as regards representing a true story, and that's not based on knowing the true story inside out. I'm talking about just what's in the public domain in terms of like the music they've put out and the press reports, and it shouldn't take away from the fact that it is an entertaining film. It should have been a Best Picture contender, but it isn't. It really is just an entertaining film.
I think a lot of people are still going to campaign for it to be that, though.
I think so. I think that's more because of what it represents rather than what it is.
And how much it's made.
Well, there is that too. Some more film news then before we carry on with reviews. And we've got to talk about the greatest event in the world, which is taking place this Sunday on the island of Catalina, Case.
Yes, fill us in on what it is.
It is the Catalina Wine Mixer. Why am I excited about the Catalina Wine Mixer, Case? Because it's the Catalina Wine Mixer, that's why. Right, so of course this is based on the event in the movie Step Brothers from 2008, Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly. They are recreating the event in the real world. Not only are they recreating the event, the venue, the beach club at which it's being held, has signed a promotional agreement for helicopters, just like in the movie. And rather than a Billy Joel cover band, which I believe was called Uptown Girl, they have the Dan Band performing. And if you're not familiar with the Dan Band, they're one of my favourite bands. They are the band that appeared in a lot of Todd Phillips' movies. They are the wedding band in The Hangover and Old School.
Starsky and Hutch.
They are the Bar Mitzvah band in Starsky and Hutch.
See, I've seen all of those films, but just did not connect it together until I looked them up this morning.
I must show you that album, Case. It's filled with some gems.
I'm sure.
There are some gems on that album. So, the Catalina Wine Mixer, the Catalina Wine Mixer, is actually happening. So, Animorphs, are you familiar with this franchise?
Yeah, I'm...
I always forget you are, like, you've got like half a decade younger than me, so you kind
roughly,
of know more of these things than I do. Now, I had to turn to Calvin for this. Because I'm unaware of the existence of this
Calvin's
franchise.
like a man with the youth, isn't he?
He's the Ute. He's the Ute.
Yeah,
he's the Ute. He has hoodies. He has actual hoodies.
He has
actual hoodies. Yeah.
Wow.
His don't come from Next like ours, Case.
I actually have two from Next. I've reached that age.
When you pass a certain point, your hoodies only come from Next or Burton's. That's how it works.
The same place where I can buy like throw cushions and stuff. I can get my hoodies.
Exactly. If you can buy throw cushions there, that's where you buy hoodies. Yeah. So, of course, Animorphs is a franchise from the 90s. It was young adult novels. It became a TV series. Well, I think it was Nickelodeon. Was it?
I believe so.
I believe it was Nickelodeon. It was a live-action TV series. It was sort of a Power Rangers style. Teenagers can turn into something else and fight evil kind of series. Only they could turn into animals, I believe. They morphed into animals. This is now being turned into a film franchise over at Universal because, hey, young adult novels.
Yeah, because property.
Because property.
It's like Monopoly, really, isn't it?
It kind of is. Patrick Dempsey. Have you heard this?
I've heard about this. So he has joined the cast of Bridget Jones 3, which is Bridget Jones's Baby.
Bridget Jones's Baby.
Yeah.
Now there are no plot details at present. Although the title,
I'm guessing there's going to be some. Is she going to have a kid? Is she going to have a baby?
It's possible.
She's going to steal a baby.
Now that's a Bridget Jones movie,
that.
I would say. Like, she gets dumped by Colin Firth, and the despair drives her to raid a maternity ward, and abduct a baby, and that is a role I feel Renee Zellweger was born to play.
She'd be definitely born to play
But
that.
the interesting thing of this one is that it won't be based on the third Bridget Jones book, which was Mad About the Boy, which was released. Was it last year or the year before?
I think it was 2 years ago, but that had quite a bit of controversy surrounding it.
And why did it, Case?
I'm not a fan or anything, I just know a lot about it because Mr. Darcy dies.
Didn't he? I think he dies before the book is set. You
So, like,
you
off
died in the
page,
past.
kinda, yeah.
Off screen, off page.
Off page,
Yeah.
So he's not in that, and yeah.
Yes.
But this film does not concern that, right?
The film does not concern that. The
Colin
film
Firth
allegedly is based on her newspaper columns instead.
Yeah, I've heard this.
So, you shall see. And Patrick Dempsey of Grey's Anatomy, and most importantly of all, of Transformers, Dark of the Moon, has joined the cast.
Yeah.
So we shall see what comes of this. There's no word on
I forgot he
explaining.
was even in that.
Really?
That was like in the inner recesses of my brain.
Right,
somewhere.
Transformers, Dark of the Moon, genuinely is Patrick Dempsey's last film role. That was 4
He's like
years
the
ago.
really rubbish, evil businessman bad guy, isn't he?
He is, yes.
Yeah.
He always looks like he's about to model a watch. Every time I look at Patrick Dempsey, I just think, you're going to model a watch in a minute, aren't you?
Why is he taking his blazer? Oh, right, I see.
So one final piece, then we'll get to a review. Tom Cruise has got a new interesting project that he's circling. And this is going to reunite him with Doug Liman.
I really like their partnership.
I do like their
It's
partnership
cool.
because it brought us Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, they're doing another one right now. What's it?
And this is Luna Park.
Luna Park,
circling, and this is just quite interesting. I kind of like the idea. Interesting point, by the way, and I forgot to bring this up last week. In American Ultra, there are a number of references, bizarrely, to filmmakers. The town in which all the events take place is the town of Lyman.
Really?
So, yeah. Go figure on that one. There's loads of other little filmmaker names dropped throughout.
Just a point about Doug Liman,
Go on.
producer on BOC.
He is.
Yeah.
He is, in fact, a producer on the OC.
Been rewatching it. So, yeah.
And rightly so.
Yeah.
So, shall we review The Visit then?
I
can tell you're looking forward to hearing what Night has got for us.
So this is the latest from Night. Is it a Blumhouse as well?
It is also a Blumhouse film. Now, that's an interesting distinction that I'm going to talk about in a minute as well. So, M. Night Shyamalan has delivered us this latest tome in which two children, one a teenage girl who really likes to speak metatextually about filmmaking, and her younger brother, who really likes to rap, go on a visit. Yes, I can see, like, does it make a sense?
Yeah.
It doesn't. They go on a visit to their estranged grandparents. Their mother is going away on holiday. She sends them to visit their estranged grandparents, who've recently gotten back in touch to try and repair their relationship with their daughter, discover they have grandchildren they've never met, and of course say, come on, send us the kids while you're on your holes, come on! And of course the mum is Catherine Hahn, so
Who I like very much.
who we all love Catherine Hahn, so no one would wish harm to Catherine Hahn, so, why would you harm her kids?
Was that really fun to say?
That was really fun to say. And so the kids go to visit their grandparents, played by an interesting pair of actors, Peter McRobbie and, is it Deanna Dunnigan? I was going to say Duggan. Deanna Dunnigan, sorry. But of course, something isn't quite right with Nana and Pop Pop, as they insist on being called. And when I say something's not quite right, I mean in addition to the fact that they claim to like their grandson's rapping, which is impossible. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it, Pop Pop. Stop lying to the kid. Nobody likes it. Here's a clip.
Maybe we should go outside and film some evening shots of the house.
Okay, sounds good, sister.
Could you clean the oven for me, Becca? Get all the way inside.
Becca,
She's done it before.
we really should film something outside.
Do this first.
I'll be quick.
Oh, this'll just take a second.
The visit there.
You were
M.
quite
Night Shyamalan.
incensed before the clip.
I hate that. The rapping drove me
Why would you
insane.
rap?
It's so bad. It's one of those things that you can tell it's been written. What do the kids like now? Oh, the kids are into the hippity hop. Let's give them some of the rapping because they love the hippity hop. It's that sort of sensibility. It's with the bipping and the bopping and it's that. And it's really annoying. So, this is a really, really schizophrenic film. On a Shyamalan level, right, this is not as bad as, for instance, The Happening or The Last Airbender.
What? No?
Oh, it's not as bad as that. But it's not the other end of the spectrum. It's not as good as, say, Lady in the Water. It's certainly no Signs.
It's worse than... I think Lady in the Water's one is worst.
Lady in the Water is one of his worst. But it's still not... This is still not as good as Lady in the Water.
Oh dear.
Like I said, my pinnacle, I do think Shyamalan's best film is Signs. I genuinely...
I like Signs.
I think Signs is great.
I like Signs. I think Unbreakable is the best. So you kind of...
Unbreakable's great. Signs and
peaks at
Unbreakable,
one.
I'd put them on a keel. Swing away, Meryl. Swing away. But you've got to take an aside, haven't you? So, it falls on that end of the spectrum. You've got Shyamalan directing, but it's found footage. So any sense of the Shyamalan style dies a death right there. There is no visual sense of the Shyamalan style. Doesn't exist. What you have instead is what feels like a Blumhouse film. Which, funnily enough, this actually is, because it's produced by Jason Blum through Blumhouse Productions. So it looks like it's the found footage addition to the sinister, insidious kind of a family. And it plays exactly like that, except every 10 minutes or so, the characters stop to have an M. Night Shyamalan style, in his style of writing, character diatribe. And it's really, really jarring. You've got the two kids who can't seem to act for toffee. You then got Peter McRobbie and Deanna Dunnigan, who are brilliantly creepy. And then you've got Catherine Hahn, who has this very minor sort of a role, but, reminds us all like she's kind of charming and wonderful and needs to be in more films, quite clearly. The problem is, really, the film just isn't very good. It relies on jump scares when you're thinking, this is a Shyamalan movie. And by the time you get to the Shyamalan twist, you're thinking, I'm sure this was in one of the trailers I've seen. I'm pretty sure the marketing has given this twist away at some point, because I knew it before. How did I know it? If it's not in the marketing, how did I know going in what the twist was?
So it kind of sounds like M. Night can't make an M. Night film anymore because he's done so many of those terrible ones, so this is the only company that would work with him.
I want M. Night to go and make this in the style of an M. Night Shyamalan. Why? Why have we got found footage?
Okay, well, apparently he is getting back together with Bruce Willis. That's what I heard.
Really?
Yeah, that news was released about a year ago, and then recently with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, I heard the Joaquin Phoenix one, but that Joaquin Phoenix one
do?
is also going to include Jason Blum. So, yeah.
And yet Joaquin wouldn't do Doctor Strange. Come on.
Yeah, wouldn't do Doctor Strange, but he'll do that again. I mean, there's a great line in the film in which the two kids talk about their departing father. Their father left them at an early age. And Ed Oxenbould, who plays the young, irritating, rapping, supposed 9-year-old, looks about 15. And he comes out on the line, which is, people leave when they find something they like better. And this line takes place about halfway through the film, at which point you're already thinking, yeah, I wish the filmmakers had remembered that. I really do, because if I had something I liked better right now, I'd go and do that instead.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is OffScreen.
Welcome back. So, on to the difficult to pronounce one.
I'm going to give it a go. La Famille Be.
Bellier, indeed.
Cracked it.
So, this is a sort of post-Glee aspirational musical family comedy. The general, with a disability aspect thrown in for good measure. So they've ticked a few boxes here.
Yeah.
So what you have of this French family comedy is the story of a deaf farming family. The Belliers. So obviously the title roughly translates to the Bellier family. You have deaf parents, a deaf brother, and you have a teenage daughter, played by Luann Emera, more on her in a minute, whom, of course, is the only one of the whole family who is not deaf and works basically as the translator for the family. She basically is their link to the outside world, as it were. But it's set in contemporary times, so it's a very modern farm. It's a farm where they have iPhones, for instance. And in the middle of all this, you have Paula Bellier, who is the Luann Emera's character, the daughter. You have a moment in which she's in a mandatory school choir session with this brilliantly curmudgeonly choir teacher who inadvertently discovers that, wouldn't you know it, she's actually been hiding all along this terrific singing voice. Not hiding it intentionally, she didn't know she had it.
Well, she wouldn't really be singing.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
of the family,
she sort of just sings to herself and never really thinks about it.
Yeah.
And it's then discovered she has this amazing operatic sort of, soprano, I think they compare it to, singing voice. The teacher then puts her forward for a spot at a prestigious Parisian music school. But of course, this then raises the question of, can Paula go? Won't that mean leaving her family to fend for themselves? Can they fend for themselves? What does it mean for her? She's got this gift she never knew she had. What does it all mean, Basil? We haven't got to say here's a clip because there isn't a clip. It's a French film.
We don't have a clip.
We don't have a clip.
We could just talk French for a bit, let's not.
My French kind of ends at the lyrics to Lady Marmalade and the phrase La Cage aux Folles.
Neither of which you should really just utter to people.
No, not
at
really.
a whim, yeah.
Fosse, and Madonna. That's the Birdcage. That's the English language remake. Never mind.
I love the Birdcage.
But
such a good film.
So, First and foremost, Luann Imera, are you familiar with her work?
I am not.
You are not. Strangely enough, Case, neither was I.
Will I be in the future, do you think?
I believe very much so you will be. I think she is a star, this girl. Yeah. Turns out that she was a runner-up on the French version of The Voice. She was a semi-finalist of the French version of The Voice. How is beyond me. Whoever won must be magical. That's all I can say, because she's brilliant. Not only is she a fantastic singer, though, it turns out she can really act. And I don't just mean in that cloy sort of Leah Michelle-esque way. She's got real acting chops. To the extent that I don't speak French, and I've always had a hard time with the whole, is someone giving a good performance in a foreign language kind of deal? If you don't speak the language, how can you really gauge a performance? However, she emotes so well, so sincerely, so brilliantly, that you look and you can't help but say, this girl is a star. I hope it's not another case of, a young French female star who we never see again. I hope she's not another Sophie Marceau or another Emmanuelle Bier, or, because Léa Seydoux seems to be breaking away from that, but...
And it's taken her a while, because she's been obviously in for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. But I hope there is some crossover for Luann now, because she's terrific. Also great in the film, Francois Damiens, who plays Frankie Damiens. Really? Yeah. Frankie Damiens.
Like
Francois Damiens, or Frankie Damiens, who plays her father. And this guy is fantastic. He really is. Such comic timing, real sort of physical performance. And he has this brilliant way of transitioning from the out-and-out slapstick funny stuff to the genuinely emotional and moving stuff. And I will say, this is a really sharply written film, really witty. It understands teenagers in a really refreshing way. As in, you don't feel like... It's not like The Visit, where, it's a kid who raps because that's what kids are.
Yeah, because we're down with the kids.
Exactly. This feels like someone has a teenage daughter who's written this, and they understand the mechanics of it. And the comedic aspect of it is genuinely funny. The emotional aspect of it will out and out have you in tears by the end. And there are some great performances in there, particularly I forget the name of the French actor who plays the choir teacher. He's brilliant. There is some slightly out of place cartoonishness from the actress who plays Gigi, the mother. But other than that, it is a terrific film. I really enjoyed it. I didn't expect much of it, and I thought, it's just...
See, I hadn't heard about it until a couple of days ago, and you told me about it.
Exactly, because I texted you after. French film, that's the film of the week. The weird thing is, I got told the plot before I went in, and I just thought, this it sounds like One Chance, the James Corden movie.
Well, that's what I thought when I saw the trailer, because for me, the trailer did not capture me.
It's One Chance. It's Unchance.
Yeah. The past few years, I've seen quite a few French films that I've really, really loved. The Intouchables.
Yes, I really liked The Intouchables.
That was great. Dans la Maison was good.
Omar Sy, wasn't it? The Intouchables.
Omar Sy was in that. Now he's
one of the X-Men now.
He's one of the X-Men,
or will be one of the X-Men in the future. So to speak.
Yeah.
He will eventually be an X-Men.
He might come back for Jurassic 5.
Jurassic 5.
Let's call it Jurassic 5. Yeah, because of course he was in
Jura-5ic.
Jura-5ic, yeah.
Jura-5ic.
They'll work that 5 in.
They will that 5 in. But really, really moving, really brilliant film. Wholeheartedly loved it. Can't recommend it highly enough. Really thought it was terrific. Oh, what was the French film with Kristen Scott? Was it Kristen Scott Thomas?
That was Dans la Maison.
No, the one that Brian De Palma remade as Passion with. It was Kristen Scott Thomas in the original one because it was the girl from The Devil's Double.
Was it like a yellowish poster?
Yes, yellowish poster.
And I can't remember what because she was in two French, of course.
Yes,
she was in two French films that I saw. Kristen Scott Thomas.
Really liked her more. Didn't like Passion, despite the fact that it had Rachel McAdams in it. Rachel McAdams playing like a feisty minx type. didn't do it for me. So should we do some more film news on that note?
Let's do that.
But after I've used the phrase saucy minx on there. So Michael Fassbender, have you heard about this one he's lining up for? The Snowman, based on the novel by Joe Nesbo. Is it Joe Nesbo? Is that how you say it?
I've always said Joe Nesbo.
I've always said Joe Nesbo.
Yeah.
And this, of course, The Snowman is but one of the novels centering around Detective Harry Hole, which is the greatest name. I want to see Michael Fassbender as Harry Hole. He's only in advanced talks. But
DCI Hole. It doesn't work.
It just sounds bad, doesn't it? So what you've got then with this one is the first. Well, it's the 7th book, and there's a whole series of them. But they want to sort of start a franchise with this, with Michael Fassbender as the detective, Alex Cross style. Series of adventures. And the Snowman centres around Harry Hole, no sniggering, investigating the case of a young boy's missing mother who's been abducted, and the only clue is a mysterious snowman appearing in their front garden wearing her pink scarf. So... you announced that the week that there's a pink iPhone unveiled. I mean, it's all a conspiracy.
No, not pink. Rose gold.
Rose gold. So it's a rose gold scarf on a snowman. Okay, there we are. Oh, then there's the other news. We've got to talk about Sam Smith, haven't we?
I'm not that thrilled about it.
Are you not that thrilled about it?
No, but he kind of got to a point where it was a little bit like Benedict Cumberbatch and the Doctor Strange thing.
It
I was
is,
just like, just somebody say something.
Can we confirm
we
this?
Want some
we
memes.
know Vin Diesel is Groot. Just admit it.
Yeah, it was that kind of thing. I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine, and I like that it's the first British male solo. Yeah, since 1965. Since Tom Jones.
I know.
Thunderball.
Since Tom Jones.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm not a big fan of Sam Smith, but we'll see. I would prefer Radiohead, who were rumoured, but that's just my own personal taste.
Are Radiohead still together at this point?
Yeah, man. Of course they are.
Fair enough.
They're one of those bands. I don't think they'll ever.
So Sam Smith is going to be released. He has apparently recorded it in January.
And denied it ever since.
He's very good at that. The song is called Writings on the Wall. It will be released on the 25th of September.
Yeah.
So, in other words, there'll be an illegally leaked MP3 online now, I would guess. So, like every other Bond song.
That's it. I'm surprised it hasn't been.
So that we have 2 weeks to bitch and moan about it before it's released.
Before it comes out and you can stream it and buy it. And it's going to sell loads. It's going to get a billion streams.
Before we had Quantum of Solace, when that movie was going to be called something else, it was a single word, and it was going to have a Killers theme song. That was a great rumour. I liked that rumour.
I was reading an article where it was a bunch of not used Bond songs. So Pulp did a version of Tomorrow Never Dies.
That is on one of the Pulp albums. That is actually on.
Yeah.
I've got that. It's on one of the Pulp albums.
Yeah.
My favourite one is, have you ever seen the Shaken and Stirred album?
No.
This was David Arnold did this to celebrate one of the anniversaries of Bond.
Was this with
97?
Yeah.
In 97, he released an album of covers of Bond themes by contemporary artists at the time. So you had Bjork singing "You Only Live Twice," for instance. Pulp did a version of "All Time High," and songs along those lines, and they were remixed for the time by those bands.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting sort of album.
I'm going to have to try and dig that
Shaken
out.
and Stirred. It was in circulation in 97. You can still get a hold of it in certain places. Amazon.
I will find a way.
So, my favourite news of the week.
What's this?
Because this sounds made up. And it's true. It is apparently true. Ronda Rousey has signed up for a remake/reboot of Roadhouse. So, to give it its proper term, Roadhouse.
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 Yeah, so.
That'll work. As I was saying to you earlier, I'm not 100% about
you don't
her
like
acting
Ronda
chops.
Rousey.
Well, I like her, but
I love her in Expendables
what have I
3.
seen? Yeah, I've seen her in Expendables 3, where she plays a fighter. I've seen it in Entourage, where she plays herself, a fighter.
And of course, Furious 7.
Oh yeah, well, she's a bodyguard who can fight.
Exactly. Well, you know.
Yeah, that's fine. Just don't pigeonhole yourself. I want to see some proper chops.
Can I just remind you about what happened when Arnie and Stallone tried to go serious in the 90s, in the early 90s?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we don't need another stop or my mum will shoot type affair. All right, nobody needs it. Not now, not ever.
I will go see Roadhouse.
Oh, good. Going to drag you kicking and screaming. Dare you sully the good name of the Rouse.
That'll be like her next film.
You know what? I hope she calls her actual home the House of Rouse.
The House of Rouse.
The House of Rouse. That would be amazing.
Like the House of Mouse. Like
the House
Mickey
of Mouse. House of Rouse. That would be brilliant. That's what she'd call. She'd call her home. Like on her mail. She's a mail. Ronda Rousey, care of House of Rouse.
California. Yeah.
You know. P.O. Box 1, you know. So, off from that slightly more comedic note, onto something far less funny, or more funny, depending. Maze Runner, The Scorch Trials.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be a comedy.
Not supposed to be a comedy. However, this is a film that gives away so much of itself in its own marketing. It is a movie called The Scorch Trials, which features a 2.5-minute long trailer, halfway through which a character is heard to loudly proclaim, "It's been so long since we've seen someone survive the scorch." Really? There is also, by the way, a character who is, it's meant to be a big twist that he betrays them. It's in the trailer. His actual betrayal is in the trailer. I don't understand what is going on with these marketing departments. What is wrong with them? This is not a spoiler. It's out there. I'm sure if you've seen any other film, it's in front of that film. So, Maze Runner: The Scorch Trials is the second film based on the young adult novel series, because apparently everything is now based on books aimed at 12-year-olds. And unless it's Marvel, in which case it's books based on aimed at 13-year-olds. Yeah. And so, did you see the Maze Runner?
Well, I've seen the first one.
So, young boys, wake up.
I didn't think it was that out, because I quite enjoyed the concept. I thought the concept was good. Yeah.
The first one's a Twilight Zone episode. That's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's why it's great.
Big spider things were cool. I liked that a lot.
Young boys wake up in a maze, no memory, have to get through the maze to freedom.
Yeah.
There's spider goblin-y things in the maze.
And then there's a girl.
And then there's a girl.
And then puberty happens.
And puberty apparently never happened in this reality, because a girl popping up in a camp full of deprived teenage boys, apparently not an issue.
No, yeah, it's completely fine. It's good.
Yeah, this is all for the porn parody people. Anyway, so...
What would that be called? I'll think about it.
The Gaze Runner, because it was an entirely male cast. Seriously. John Colson and I mapped this out.
Oh, very good.
So the end of the movie, of course, was the case of, here is 2 solid minutes of exposition and the immediate setup for a sequel. You then got that sequel, which now has loads of exposition for things that you've forgotten. It's exposition that refers to the other bit of exposition at the end of the last film, so you've forgotten all of it. And then there's the big twisty betrayal thing that's in the marketing, and then we're doing the surviving through the desert thing, then we're surviving through some tunnels, then we're surviving through some mountains. That's the movie. And no. Okay, here's a clip.
Thomas! We gotta go. We gotta go right now. What the hell are you talking about? We gotta go. They're coming, come on, we gotta go. Come on, they're coming for us. What happened? Thomas, can you just calm down, talk to us? It's wicked! It's still wicked. It's always been wicked. Thomas. What did you see?
Are you bored yet?
Yeah.
Right,
definitely.
okay, so...
I was bored when this sequel was even announced.
Right, okay. Yeah. Believe me, it's going to get so much worse. Right, I now can't tell this movie apart from the Hunger Games or the Divergent series, because they all seem to take place in abandoned silo bases or derelict warehouses. That's the actually said.
Yeah, it's all in a post-apocalyptic.
Post-apocalyptic, here's a silo, here's a warehouse.
Here's factions.
There's some factions, and you have to challenge the status quo. That's the thing. This one is that, but there's apparently some zombies turn up halfway through. And I'm not sure what the zombies mean, because in the 12 months since... It's not even 12 months, because it was November, the Maze Runner last year. Was it October?
It was October.
I
remember seeing that and Turtles in the same day.
It was October.
That was interesting.
So, since October, yes, exactly, yeah. I've now forgotten the entire plot of the Maze Runner. Didn't rewatch it.
Nobody can blame you.
And you watch this film, and you're like, good Lord, none of these kids can act. No. And you've got Dylan O'Brien, who is just dead-eyed and looks like he's just some passerby who wandered onto a movie set and they said, here's a 3/4 length sleeve t-shirt, put some soot on it and run through some sand, please.
Put some mud on your face, amazing.
Yeah, just I tell you what, part your hair nicely, just squiff it up a little bit.
You are still leading a film, remember?
You are still leading a film, yeah. Oh, what's that? You're on a show for MTV, that figures. Okay. The adult cast is just insultingly poor. Aidan Gillen turns up to do what Aidan Gillen does, and you're sat there thinking, you did this on Game of Thrones. You are still doing this on Game of Thrones. You are known for doing this on Game of Thrones.
Hey, Baelish is one of the best things about Game of Thrones.
If you have an actor who's best known for playing a plumber, why would you then cast him as a plumber? It doesn't make any sense. Why do it again here? By the time Patricia Clarkson turns up, you'll be napping. Yeah. You've then got Barry Pepper, who is meant to be a character who's going to lead the sequel. Although by the time he turns up, you're thinking, is that Alex Winter? I can't quite tell. Natalie Emmanuel turns up because towards the end of the film, they just drop characters in, presumably for the sequel.
Yeah, they're setting things up.
They're setting things up for what I'm going to guess is going to be a 2-part movie called The Pond Skimmer, or something along those lines.
And then we'll change the name of the last one.
Yeah,
like
the Pond Skimmer,
and then the Pond Skipper,
the Pond Skimmer, and then the Garden Jumper,
Garden Jumper, yeah,
something like that. No, bored. Wes Ball, who's the director, seems to be asleep as well. You've got the CGI zombies and CGI gribbly things, and you're just bored by it all the way through because you start thinking, I can't tell. Is this the one where presidents? No, that's Hunger Games. Is this the one where they jump off trains? No, that's Divergent. That's the one with Charlene's Woodleys. No, okay, bored now. And that's it. You go through this 2 hour, 11-minute long film, and boy, do you feel it.
2 hours and 11 minutes.
For a film that is all about walking from point A to point B, you will not believe how directionless this film is. And I am not exaggerating in any way. This is a film with no direction whatsoever, despite the fact, ironically, that it centres around a plot to get from point A to point B. That is its constant thing. Hey, we've reached point B. Oh, there's another point B now. Oh, okay. Let's go walk to point B. And there's more. There's more walking in this than a Lord of the Rings movie.
One. I knew you were going to bring up Lord of the Rings.
There is more walking. Do you remember The Way Back? The movie about walking.
Yeah.
More walking in this. Seriously, more walking in this, and actually more sleeping. There's a lot of walking in the film, but
sleepwalking, if you will.
Sleepwalking. Sleeping for you, walking for them. So, what are those things? So, how do you feel about film news, Kase?
Do you know what? I like it, especially when we have it 4 times in one episode. That's my favourite.
It breaks down the day.
It does.
In the old days, we used to do 20 minutes of uninterrupted film news.
Yeah. And big blocks of it. Now it's nice, easy to digest chunks.
Nice, easy to digest chunks. Exactly.
So, what do you have for me?
Speaking of nice, easy to digest chunks, and I am
what a segue!
And I am referring to the sort of 10-15 minute long segments that are Nickelodeon cartoons.
Oh, I know what this is.
Yeah, you see where I was going with that? Nice segue.
Well played.
Well, Nickelodeon is bringing back some of its animated shows, such as Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, etc. And they're going to be in an Avengers-esque team-up movie, which is going to be partially live action at Paramount.
Partially live action?
Partially live action. So this could be interesting. Danny Boyle. We have to talk about Danny Boyle because he's got Steve Jobs. He's got the Steve Jobs movie coming up.
Of course, yeah.
Which Steve Wozniak saw at the Telluride Film Festival.
Yeah.
And he loved it. And
it's quite rare that happens, right?
Did you hear the actual... do you know the backstory about Steve Wozniak and his relationship with these films?
A little bit. It's quite limited.
He famously did not like the Jobs in 2013, which starred Ashton Kutcher.
Well, nobody did. So
nobody did. Although, Ashton Kutcher was not the problem in that movie. He actually wasn't a bad Steve Jobs.
He looks just like him. I mean, I would give that to him.
He had the personality down, actually, in a strange way. But I think Michael Fassbender might be a bit too psychotic. Like, Steve Jobs had to... Yeah. Steve Jobs was a psychopath because he could charm and then be evil.
Well, Boyle said that Fassbender playing it is like
Fassbender's too focused, I think.
Too focused.
Yeah,
he said he's like a Shakespearean character.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the problem with it. So, Steve Wozniak saw Jobs, didn't like it. Ashton Kutcher took him to town of it. Well, he's involved with the other movie they're doing, which would eventually be the Danny Boyle one. Yeah. So, it's business to him. So, it's in his interest to slate it.
Yeah.
He wasn't available to us, that was it. He wasn't available to us as a resource, was the direct quote. Steve Wozniak then countered by revealing that he had in fact been offered the job of consulting on the film, had read the script, and the quote was, he was abhorred by it. Ooh. He and his wife both were abhorred by it. So, point 1 to the Wozniak. Thank you,
Woz.
Yes, Woz. Nil poir Ashton. So, Kutcher? What do you call him? What's he short to? Ashton Kutcher?
Kutch. Probably Kutch.
AKA. Yeah. Anyway, so he saw Steve Jobs at Telluride and apparently loved it. Yeah. Said it was a great performance. He particularly liked Seth Rogen.
I was going to say, did he like Seth Rogen playing him?
Portrayal
That's good casting.
He's very good.
I do like that.
Just remember, it was Josh Gad in Jobs.
I think that's all right
That was quite good casting as well.
Yeah.
So, of course, Danny Boyle directed that. He's now confirmed that the sequel to Trainspotting, this has been rumoured for like 20 years now, surely.
Yeah, it's been quite dependent on everybody's timing and, more importantly, how everybody feels about each other.
Exactly.
If they're all friends.
Danny Boyle has now confirmed that Trainspotting 2, or whatever it's going to be called, I think it's playing the book's called Porno, isn't it?
It's Porno in the book.
Porno in the book.
Yeah.
That Porno or Trainspotting 2, whatever it's going to be called, will be his next project.
Yeah.
So,
that's
He
exciting.
has also said, though, the biggest struggle is finding that slot where everyone's free.
Yeah, because 2 other people are on shows in the States. So
well, yeah.
Johnny Lee Miller
and
what's his name?
Robert Carlyle.
Well, yeah.
Robert Carlyle's got Once Upon a Time. Johnny Lee Miller's got Elementary.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. Ewan Bremner hasn't got a show at the moment.
No.
Who else is in the cast now? No. Off the top of my head, can't remember.
Well, I think that's it. The only ones that will have like kind of prior long-standing engagements.
Oh, I have to talk about this project because I was very excited about this. Right, Andre Overdahl, who is the director of Troll Hunter. Troll!
Oh, I love that film.
God, I love that film. One of my favourite fan footage films. One of the only ones I like. That Chronicle and that Chronicle, I think, are about it.
Yeah.
So Troll Hunter director Troll Andre Overdahl has signed on to direct a sci-fi thriller called Emergence. Right, I love the sound of this. This is going to be a sci-fi thriller that centres around a mining team, a terraforming team, who have to fight for their lives when the terraforming chemical accidentally gets released onto the atmosphere. I think it's Martian atmosphere, and consumes everything like a forest fire and comes for them. That's going to be awesome. That really is.
Sound really good.
It's an Australian-Irish co-production. So
we shall see what comes of that.
We shall see what comes of that.
Just talk about Troll Hunter. When I worked for a famous all-consuming cinema brand, I'm not going to talk about it, but used to work for one down in Wales, and whenever that trailer would come on, because we'd have the trailers playing it in the lobby and stuff, all of the staff members would all be like, Troll! So like, at least twice an hour, everybody would shout Troll.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. We used to have that in Blockbuster years ago with the trailers for I believe it was Rain Over Me with Adam Sandler.
Oh yeah,
where every staff member would sing the song "How to Save a Life" by the Fray every single time it was on. My personal favourite was you're aware of my Russell Crowe impression.
Oh, I am. Yeah.
It was during the trailer for A Good Year. Good morning, lab rats. Every time.
That's pretty good.
It just became a thing. Last review then, Case.
Let's do it.
Irrational Man.
So this is the latest from Mr. Woody Allen.
The latest from Mr. Woody Allen.
He's quite prolific.
Well, he's one of the most prolific spectacle wearers there is, sir. He is. Yeah, any cartoon you've ever seen of Woody Allen, they always start by drawing the specs first.
Yeah. Well, they're pretty iconic.
This is true. This is now Woody Allen's 50th year of filmmaking, would you believe?
Wow. That's an achievement.
That really is. So this latest one, because it's like an annual it's like an annual play now. This is what we get. It's like a stage play every year.
Yeah,
we unite for an all-star cast to do a stage play, written and directed by Woody Allen.
Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're to run with love.
But they're all made by Woody Allen. They're all same kind of pitch, same kind of style,
same kind of tone. Yeah.
Exactly, and this latest one has Emma Stone, Joaquin Phoenix, and Parker Posey at the fore. Also has Ethan Phillips in it, bizarrely, who you might know as Neelix from Star Trek Voyager. So the basic gist around this one is Joaquin Phoenix is a sort of sozzled, alcoholic, overly libidinous.
Let's say libidinous. That sounds more like a word.
Let's just say hormonally charged college professor, philosophy professor named Abe Lucas, who takes a summer job at a very sleepy New England college, where he quickly proceeds to drink and bone everything that moves, and begins a friendship with a student played by Emma Stone. They have a somewhat platonic relationship. She wants more, he doesn't. He wants to keep it within the professor-student dynamic, and he also begins an affair with his married colleague played by Parker Posey. And then one day he discovers the source to finding some kind of meaning and purpose with his life, when he determines that he could make the world a better place by committing the perfect murder and bumping off a local judge whom he's never met and has no interaction with. You look really confused.
Because I've seen the trailer for this.
Yes. Once
has come out of left field.
Exactly, yeah. And once he's set his mind to it, he has to work out how to commit said perfect murder, and then also deal with and focus and live with the ethics of having committed a decision. In the meanwhile, you also have the women in his life and their suspicions of his involvement. Here's a clip.
How's it coming?
Blocked. Can't write.
Why?
I can't write because I can't breathe.
What would get you breathing again?
The will to breathe. Inspiration.
You need a muse.
I've never needed a muse before.
I hope you're not going to send me back out into the rain without sleeping with me.
I'm trying to write.
You're blocked. I'm going to unblock you.
Very, very Woody Allen, but very, very macabre, very dark. And it is, in every sense, very much a typical Woody Allen film. It has, there's a lot of the navel-gazing sort of sensibility. Because Irrational Man famously is the name of a sort of infamous philosophy textbook. And there is a lot of philosophy to the film, but weirdly, not much more than there is in the average Woody Allen film. And the strange thing is, I think because we had She's Funny That Way recently, it feels like we had a Woody Allen film recently, even though that was Peter Bogdanovich.
Yeah.
And
quite Woody Allen-ish.
Yeah, and we said at the time it was very much like a Woody Allen film. And this kind of reminds you, actually, I feel like I saw a Woody Allen film recently. Oh, wait, I didn't. That was Peter Bogdanovich. The cast are all very game. As with all Woody Allen films, it's about whether or not they can get on board with the Woody Allen shtick and how in sync with it they are. And in this case, they are all pretty in sync with it. Joaquin Phoenix feels a little bit like he's coasting, but he's still quite enjoyable in it. Emma Stone's the second time around for Emma Stone because she did Magic in the Moonlight last year with Colin Firth.
Yeah, I thought she was quite good in that.
Yeah. And then you've got Parker Posey, who's actually quite enjoyable. A little bit of fun in there. And it's an interesting film. I mean, the mechanics of the plot machinations of Joaquin Phoenix's would-be assassination plot are a welcome diversion, I think, from the navel-gazing philosophy. When that starts to get a bit much, it's nice to have that diversion, actually, for a change in a Woody Allen film. Particularly since the last one, the navel-gazing was kind of embedded with the plot. So, this time around, a little bit more diverting, and I quite like it. If I have a complaint, I don't know. It does feel very pedestrian, though. I mean, within the rules, the established rules of a Woody Allen film, it's fine, but it's no better than good. It's good, but it's good for a Woody Allen film. I think it will put off casual moviegoers. Yeah. I think anyone who doesn't know Woody Allen's work will be like,
I think it's just kind of following the rules, isn't it? So every 3 or 4 years, we'll get like Midnight in Paris. And then we've got to kind of suffer through some more rubbish ones. Then we'll get what was the Kate Blanchett one?
Blue Jasmine.
Which was great.
This has a lot less to say than Blue Jasmine, and it's I don't know. It's not quite. I liked it more than I liked Magic in the Moonlight, to be fair. But I do like the sort of the comedy of errors aspect to it, and it's very much a Woody Allen film. I hesitate to give it a bad review because within the confines of Woody Allen's sensibilities and Woody Allen's body of work, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it has no casual audience whatsoever to this one. But what more can you say? It's a Woody Allen film. You know what to expect. It's a Woody Allen film. But film of the week, I'm going to give to La Famille Be.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
It does sound really good.
Luana Mehra is a star.
Very, very good light.
Yeah, she is a star. That's it.
We'll see what happens with her.
Water's wet, the sky is blue, Luana Mehra is a star. There we are. That's it. And Satan Claus, Jimmy. Satan Claus is out there. Anyway, so to go a bit Shane Black there for a second, Satan Claus is out there. So, next week. We've got some interesting ones next week. We've got Bill next week. Do you know about Bill?
No, I don't know about
this. This is like a comedic take on the life of Shakespeare.
Oh, okay.
It's a revisionist comedic take. Can't remember Anonymous, the Roland Emmerich one.
But I could
tried
not
to make
stand.
it. Tried to make it an epic. This is more. I think this is a comedic one.
Okay, yeah, I'll give it a watch.
We've got the D Train because James Marsden loves the D.
You were dying to say that.
It really was. James Marsden and Jack Black love the D.
Yeah, Jack Black, Catherine Hahn, Jeffrey Tambor is in that.
It's got a good cast.
It's a good cast.
Everest is upon us next week.
I am looking forward to this.
Yeah,
I love a good big epic. I love, we'll see.
Can we call it a cinematic peak?
Oh, terrible.
That's a John Mosby pun, that one.
Yeah. Wait until Crimson Peak comes out.
Right, Crimson Peak, yeah. We've got Infinity next week as well, which is the Australian-produced sci-fi movie. I had the pleasure of seeing that the other day. Doesn't star anyone you'd really know, but Luke Hemsworth is in it. He's like the Daniel Baldwin of Hemsworths.
Yeah, but he is like the third-rate Hemsworth, isn't he?
He's the other Hemsworth.
Other Hemsworth.
Imitation brand Hemsworth. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. The Messenger with Robert Sheehan and Lily Cole. That's next week. And, of course, Robert Redford in A Walk in the Woods.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, yeah. Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte, that's it.
And Emma Thompson's in there.
Is Emma Thompson?
Yeah.
Is it directed by Bill Bryson, I think, isn't it?
No, but it's just about Bill Bryson.
Is it about Bill Bryson?
It's about his travels with his best friend, yeah.
Ah, fair enough.
Should be good.
So, yes, we've got all that to come
It's
and
been
more.
Busy all week, yeah.
And in the meantime, we've got the Catalina wine mixer to look forward to. So
Censored.
I wish I could be there. I really do. Boats and hose, yo. Boats and hose. So we've got all those films and more to come next week off screen. This has been a Candystore production for OnScreen. I've been Van Connor.
My name is Kase, and we will be back next week.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to OffScreen. For more news and reviews, visit OnScreenFilm.com.
Okay, cut. That's a wrap.
3, 2, 1. Troll!